So I'm here to announce today a few different things, but the first one is that I am now a full-time YouTuber. I left my job last Friday, was my last day having a day job. I worked in IT, for those that don't know. I had been in IT for a long time, and I can't remember how long off the top of my head right now, but it's been a really long time. It's been where I spent a majority of my working life. So kind of weird not to have that anymore. But yeah, I'm excited to announce that I am a full-time YouTuber. But that is not the point of this video. I wanted to announce a few different projects that I have been working on in this video. So the first one is a couple months ago, I soft launched a newsletter. I didn't want to make a big video about it, make a big deal about it, because it will end up costing me money. I'm using a service called Button Down for those that are interested. Button Down's really great if you're looking to put together a newsletter and write in Markdown. It works extremely well on the iPad. Like, I give it 2 thumbs up, 5 gold stars, 10 out of 10, would recommend. Any scale you're looking for, it's a great service, especially if you write in Markdown. But I didn't want to make a big deal about it because after 1,000 subscribers, you have to pay $5 for every 1,000 subscribers a month. If you go 1,001 subscribers, you got to pay $5. If you hit 2,001, $10, and so on and so on. So I didn't want to make a big video about it until I knew it was something that I actually enjoyed doing, I liked. But so here's me announcing it. I'm doing a newsletter now, and I know what you're thinking. Another YouTuber doing another newsletter. I promise you. Well, I can't promise you. I hope that it's actually worth it to you. So let me explain what's actually in this newsletter. It's good content. So the first piece in there is a blog post. So I usually cover like what's kind of happened in this month for tech and things like that. So like the first one, I covered like all the Apple stuff that was announced in the fall, like the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, HomePod Mini, iPad Air, the base iPad, things like that. Like I talked about that and kind of like what was worth it and what wasn't. Then there's a wallpaper section. Now, a lot of you ask for my wallpaper, and I haven't really had a good place to distribute it. What I've started doing is I'm going to put 1 or 2 of these a month in this newsletter. I put a couple in there in the first and second issue already. If you sign up now, you can go back and look at issue 1 and 2, and you can pull the wallpapers from those. The first issue has my iPad wallpaper that everyone loves, that I really appreciate. Anytime somebody says something really nice about it, makes me feel good that I took a photo that people enjoy. So that's in there. And then this latest issue, I put a Christmas-themed iPhone wallpaper, if you will. It's a picture of a tree that looks like a Christmas tree. It's not really a Christmas-themed one, but it's nice. I really like it. It's my iPhone wallpaper right now. So those are in there, and I'm going to keep doing those every month. I'll put 1 or 2 in there. I'm trying to kind of keep them on theme with that month. But I will run out of photos if COVID doesn't end. So COVID needs to hurry up and end so I can go take more photos and not run out. Then the next section is a shortcut section. So I put 1 shortcut in here, and then I go into how I made it, how it works, and how you can practically use it. I've heard from a lot of you that you are really curious about shortcuts, but you're not sure how it can practically work in your life. So I wanted to give real world examples. This last one that I did was building a grocery list for drafts. Grocery lists are probably really important right now with the aforementioned COVID happening, because you don't want to spend an hour wandering through a grocery store. You want to get in and out as quickly as possible. Honestly, I always want to get in and out of going grocery shopping. I don't know what it is, but I hate grocery shopping. It is. And then the last section is a link to all the videos I made for that month. Now, I will lift the curtain a little bit. This is why I'm doing the newsletter. So YouTube doesn't do the greatest job of showing you all the videos for all the channels you've subscribed to. And in fact, it uses an algorithm to kind of try and figure out and try and guess what it thinks you would like to see. And I've heard from quite a few of you again that there are videos that have gone public that and then you turn around and ask for some version of that, and I'm like, oh yeah, here, I did it like a couple weeks ago or a month ago or whatever. I don't want to rely on the YouTube algorithm. I kind of want to take it all into my own hands. So this newsletter is a way for you to see every video I posted in a month, or in that given month, that is. So if you're interested in that, this is a great way to see all that information. So the third announcement I want to make is I am launching a podcast. This is going to be a weekly podcast I'm calling the Weekly Report Card, or Weekly Report Card, or Weekly Report. I haven't quite settled on a name just yet. I just finished recording the first episode. I really like how it turned out. The first episode is kind of more of like a pilot for the pilot, because I haven't had a full week of being indie just yet, of being independent. So it's kind of more of a pilot for a pilot. The idea behind this is it's going to be a weekly show, hence the name Weekly Report. And I'm going to talk about any tech news that's happened, stuff that I've been working on, any new apps, tools, utilities, services that I've been using, kind of more behind the scenes and more personal stuff that doesn't usually make it into videos. Now, I talk about apps and stuff that I use, but I always try and keep it in a more general, practical sense that anyone watching a random video of mine can take something from that and use it in their own life. Now, this will be a lot more personal, but I also feel there'll be stuff that you can get out of this as well. So if you like me, if you like my personality and the way, like, my productivity schedule and mind and stuff, the way that works, this is for you. Now, I am putting this on Patreon. Now, before you turn off this video and get mad at me, just hear me out. I promise I have a good reason for this. This is not going to be a podcast that it's not going to be the next big podcast that gets, all the Squarespace money or whatever. It's going to be a podcast that is much more focused and much more audience driven. I want to hear from you guys on the Patreon page and stuff about what you guys are working through and things like that. So I kind of want there to be, I don't want to say the community word. I really don't want it. That word is completely overused and completely blown out of proportion. But I do want this to be more of a back and forth and a dialogue. I'm doing it through Patreon because, like I said, I don't think it's going to be a big show, but I do need to justify that time. So I am putting it behind a Patreon. I think it is, there's some people out there that I think might be really interested in it. I'm going to make the first 2 episodes free to listen to. So the pilot for the pilot that I just recorded, I'm going to make that one free to listen to. I talk about kind of the stuff that I kind of prepared to go indie, what this whole thing's going to be about, kind of taking a break, but also the AirPods Max and kind of my initial impressions and how I've been using them for the last few days. I do have a review on those coming, a video review coming on those, but I've been wanting to test it more and more. There's nothing that would be a video that is going to get put behind the Patreon stuff, I promise. Anything that would ever be a video will always be free and open on this channel. The main focus of the Patreon page will be that podcast. It'll be a productivity podcast. It's going to focus on tools and services, automation, utilities, things like that. I also want to bring people on that I can interview and stuff like that, like my pal Matthew Casanelli. He also has a YouTube channel. I'll put his info in the description below. He actually used to work for the workflow team, which turned into Shortcuts. So he's a smart person. I've got a lot of other people that I want to bring on as well. So I will put links to the newsletter, the Patreon, and Matthew's channel, and anything else that I mentioned that I might be blanking on right now in the description below, so you can all check that out. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a great day.